welcome in. It is almost 2026, so while everyone out there is scrambling to make their resolutions, we have some actual tips that are going to help you stick to your transformation goals this year, because we all know that resolutions are bullshit.
Resolutions never really stick because most people are scared to change, all out of fear.
But change can actually be incredibly positive. And so we're going to give you 5 realistic ways that you will actually be able to make your transformation this coming year.
Hello, Kate.
Hello, Christopher.
So to be completely honest, this is the second round because our mics weren't on, the camera died. We got a lot of shit going on today. Technical difficulties.
Yes.
So we're gonna wing it. But hopefully now the second time it's better. So now you get more information from us. Anyway, let's talk about some of your scary changes.
Scary
and you've ever changed, like your life changes. What are some of the things you've done that is like you were scared to do, apprehensive, or whatever it may be? Some things that you have done to make like small changes and very big changes. What are the things in your life that have happened?
I think some scary transformations that I made. The first one I ever did was when I moved to California when I was 19.
Okay.
I dropped out of college, moved to California to be an actor.
And how did that work out?
It was fine. I did a few things now and then, you know, out there, which I've obviously like continued with since. But you know, it was an interesting experience. But at that time, I mean, I definitely was like, I'm going to take this leap and I'm just going to do it. It was kind of a, you know, leap and then look kind of a thing.
So you left from Florida. And when you went from Florida, did you just pack up a car and go? And how long was the like, I'm going to do this and was it like, I'm doing this today and 8 a.m. next day you were gone?
No,
or?
it was probably like a couple months.
Okay. But it was like planning?
Like, yeah, I was like, I'm going to do this thing. And so, yeah, within a couple months, like I went out and did the thing.
That's cool.
So, yeah, that was a big, scary change. I mean, not obviously, but I've been married twice. The first time was definitely scary. Wasn't scary marrying you.
Well, sure it wasn't.
That wasn't your sure thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, those are big life changes. I feel like a lot of people don't think about it that way, but those are big transitional life changes.
Getting married?
Yeah, shacking up and like hitching, you know, to your wagon. That's, you know, that can be
the old ball and chain.
It gives you a bit of a leap.
The old ball and chain.
Yeah, but I mean, smaller things that I decided to do, like when I decided to compete in the WBFF, that was scary. I'd never done anything like that before. And I was always very self-conscious about being in a bathing suit and being in a bathing suit on stage, being judged.
Yeah.
Like, let's do this. That was terrifying, for sure. So that was overcoming like a big personal fear of mine.
There's a lot of work that went into that too, before that. And it's a very, it takes a lot of your time. That's the easiest way to put it. It's pretty much like going to take all your time, and you're 24 hours a day until you get to that show. If you want to keep going or not, right?
Yeah.
What else?
What about you?
What about me? What about me? Same thing with you. Is like we had that very similar past where, when I was in my 20s, we'll back it up a little bit before that. So, growing up in West Virginia, growing up with the attitude of you just need to go work at a factory and get a job and survive and get married and have kids. That was pretty much the basics of like, this is what your life is going to be. Bless my parents because they didn't know any better. They did really well. That was really good for them, like to have a house and do all that, you know, because you know them, but they're very happy and they've done well. They are now better than what they grew up with, which is the goal, right? That's the goal. So they, you know, that was what they taught us. College was never brought up. Nothing like that was brought up. Go to Votech school, get these certifications, you know, then went and got a job. Been working since I was 15, playing music since I was 12. Went and got a job when I was like 19. A real job. I worked the whole time, but then, you know, I started like a factory printing job when I was like 19. I worked there for like 7 years. Played music all the time. I was gone all the time, plus having a job, doing all that, blah, blah, blah. So I wanted to do music. there becomes this pinnacle time, and you've heard this story. Comes a pinnacle time where you make a choice, and the change is terrifying. You make a choice: if I can stay here, work in this factory, and live in a trailer with my ex-girlfriend, and go with that life and all that, right? And because I know where that goes. Like I know that'll, I'll go there, I'll live that life, and we'll just stay there, and keep going and get a house out of the trailer. Maybe that's where that goes, right? Then the other route was, I have an opportunity to leave this situation, move in a house with a bunch of hoodlums, right? That want to play music, and now you can play music and really put your time into that while you're still working at the moment. So that was a different one. So I made that really hard choice of being like, hey, I got this opportunity, I'm leaving. Keep all the shit, I'm leaving. Sorry. I went in an opportunity, a couple years of doing that, touring a lot, playing a lot of shows, working a lot, made the decision to what I'm doing now is not going to give me the opportunity that I need because of the surroundings that I'm in. Not the people, but the area I'm in doesn't provide me with opportunity enough to meet people to go out. So I moved from West Virginia to the Virginia, D.C. area, and then, met some people, did all that, got my name around a little bit. But that little time, though, with all the changes, that stuff is terrifying. Mm-hmm. And I was never one to feel like, I never thought about it like I'm not going to do this. I'm going to fail, or I'm not going to fail. I just thought about it as like, I want to try. I want to do these so bad. I was young. When you're young, I feel like that is a gift. When you're young, you don't have confidence. You're not confident, and you're not insecure. You just do. And that's what I feel like it was my strong point. Like, moved to DC, and I was playing in a band in Baltimore, a band in West Virginia. And then I did another album for a band in Winchester, Virginia, all while working and then living in different areas. Like that, I never slept. I always did that. And I was just like, I never thought about it as, I shouldn't do this. I thought about it as, I love doing it, so I'm doing it. That was, my priority. Did all that. It's terrifying because it's like, what if I can't do it? What if I can't achieve? What if it doesn't achieve? What if I can't afford to do this? It's scary. Then I got an opportunity. After all that, the opportunity was, hey, would you like to play drums for us or whatever? And go on tour, and in 2 or 3 months it's going to be permanent, and you're going to be the life. That will be your life. You don't have to work anymore. While you're on tour, not never again. Like, you don't have to work anymore. So I was like, this is terrifying, but we're going to do it. And then it was like, we're moving to South Carolina, and that was like, all right, I've never lived there. Let's go. Everything was just like a let's do it, let's go. And I'll say, all those decisions that have happened that I just did that were so terrifying were always the most rewarding. I feel like one of the biggest, best things I ever did was marry you. But number 2 is leaving West Virginia. You know that. Because I feel like it's just like, there's just places like the small towns just don't have the opportunities. Mm-hmm. Like, they don't have the money. They don't have the jobs. They just don't. Mm-hmm. Like, and it's just, I needed to get out of that. I've always felt like that was not my area. My family deaf, they're still there, but I feel like that was not my area. So I left, and thank God I left.
But so you toured for quite a while, and then you stopped touring.
Yes, I stopped touring.
And then you went and got a regular job.
Yeah, now I'm a regular job.
How was that transition?
It sucks. That is the worst transition. People don't talk about that, but going from something that's badass and your passion in your life and things you've done before, that is like your existence, and that was my decision. Like, there was no reason. I just got burnt out. I was touring too much. I was in a place where my finances were really bad, so it hurt my quality of my equipment, my quality of life. Like, you're touring constantly, and it's just like, we were honestly out over 300 days a year. Like, that's a lot to be on the road, and you still have, and there's so many troubles that come back when you're never home, especially in a relationship, obviously, and all these things. So it's just like, it just wore me down. And I think I just stayed my welcome too long with the situation I was in, and it just wore me down. And then it was like, well, I'm done, and I was bitter, so I left. But the hardest part, like you were saying, is go play on stage 5-6 nights a week, make money, do all that. It's really hard to do that and then grovel home with no job and no money, and then go get an entry-level job somewhere, like another factory job, or do that. Luckily, we've come up since that, and but that's where we started. And it was like, one thing people don't tell you about, you don't, like, I didn't write pen and paper or anything for 6-7 years. Then you go fill out a job application. You realize, holy shit, my handwriting's bad. Like, you realize the little things you haven't done, you're terrible at those things. Learning new, like, I haven't been working in those situations, so I've done it before a long time, but, you know, it's 8-10 years later, it's like, shit, I got to come here. Now I'm just like, I don't know what to do with anything. So I had to learn those skills, and it's really hard because I am the new guy that doesn't know anything and gets on everyone's nerves.
Yeah.
But a month ago, I was the guy where everyone was like, oh, that's so cool. You guys are so good. You know, or hey, your band sucks, but at least they were there, you know, whatever. So it's just that is one thing that is, I think people don't talk about going there. But in the long run, that hill that I was on, I had to come down. And now I'm way in a much better position in life. I have you, a great wife. I'm very happily married. Financial situation is great. Things are great. Like, I'm got in shape, you know, like things like that. I've learned a lot of skills in the last 10, 15 years. You know, things have been, I have no complaints in my life. Things are fantastic. So I can't complain about it. Like, I really can't. If I am happy enough to wake up and I get to go to work at this age and I don't have any health problems and I make a little bit of money and we get to eat food, like, I'm not groveling for food and I'm not, like, things are fucking good. Like, they really are. And I think nowadays we're pushed so hard onto things that if you don't have a brand new Lamborghini or a brand new car, you're not making $400,000, you know, a year or $30,000 a month, you ain't shit. And it's like, no, they're just selling you that shit. That's not real. Real happiness is if you're healthy, number one. Mm-hmm. People overlook that nowadays because it's not a thing that they can't make money off that. They make money off if you're sick. They don't make money off if you're healthy. That's why we have bad food and medicine on TV. Food and drugs should never be together, right? That's what we talk about. Like, it's true. People and civilians should never be able to see what drugs they think they might want to take and go to the doctor and ask them about them. The doctor should look at you and be like, hey, I think you need this. You need to eat better and exercise. You son of a bitch. That's what it needs to be. Anyway, I toured, I did all that, and that was it. And that's my biggest changes I've done. There's, you know, just so many little small things you do. Like, getting in shape was really hard, honestly. People don't think about that. I was, 50-some pounds overweight for my size, not working out, 220 pounds. I'm 190 now, and I was 220 before it ever worked out. So that was fun. I looked like I stung by like 400 bees at one time. Just like all fat. But starting that shit's hard. You know how it's really hard to go for a run or go do some sit-ups or go do some shit when you haven't done anything. Yeah, you feel like you're going to throw up and die. But you fight through that, and you want to do it longer and get better at it. So that was the one thing, and I just did it. Started going for little walks and little runs and did all that and slowly started working out and doing body stuff and slowly learned more about the nutrition, lived it every day and kept pushing it. And slowly I'm now,
Well, I think that's a big thing for a lot of people. Like, when they want to make a change, whether it's going to the gym or losing weight or whatever, it's like they don't know where to start. Yep. There's so much information out there, and there's so many different ways to go about things that people just kind of get a little paralyzed of, the fear with the overwhelming sense of like, oh, I've got to do all of these things. And, that's not necessarily the case. It can just be something really small that you can start to sort of incorporate into your life, drinking more water or, taking a 10-minute walk after you eat lunch on your lunch break, stuff like that. So when you start to do little things like that, it really does sort of build up and compound, and you start to gain knowledge, and you learn like, oh, my body feels this way when I do this, or I want to do this more, or I really want to avoid that because then it feels bad, or, just something small like maybe I want to take this little online class, or, start watching these YouTube videos to learn more about XYZ. Like, it doesn't have to be like this big thing overnight, that it can just be something really small, but people get a little scared just to start because they're not sure what they should be doing, Yeah,
learning where to start, I think, is a really hard thing, but if you can just start, like if you just take that one step, like if you don't know where to start and you can find one thing that's like, I'll just use the fitness and the weight because that's the easiest one. If you can say, I want to lose some weight, and then you just like, I need to take walks, start walking. That's a big thing. Just start getting in a habit of doing things and then learn more about what you want to do. Because if you the internet will oversell you everything. We always talk about that. Like, you watching YouTube, and what you consume of your body for food is just as important as you consume with your mind.
Right.
You don't need to be watching a bunch of people that are trying to sell you a bunch of crazy shit, that are trying to give you some weird one-off thing. Like, it doesn't, it's very simple. Not easy, but it's simple.
Right, it is. So I think something else that can be really hard for people when they want to start something new is like just sort of the people that they're around and their environment might not be conducive to what it is that or where it is that they want to go. You know what I mean? In their life. So it's like, whether it's your neighborhood or your house, or, just the people that you're around, your friends and family, like there are certain things that I feel like can kind of hinder someone when they want to get started on making a change. So, whether it's like fitness, we sort of talked about this a little bit earlier, about how when someone close to you is like, I'm going to start going to the gym, or they start going to the gym, and they're there, a couple hours a week or whatever. And so you either get the people that are like, oh man, that's awesome. Maybe I can go with you sometime. Or like, what is it you're doing? Like, what have you learned? Or, tell me about
what can I learn from you?
Yeah,
tell me how I can help myself.
Dude, how can I do that? Or then you have the people that are like, well, why are you doing that? Or, you know what I mean? Like, try to make it, spin it into something negative because it's sort of revealing something within themselves that they feel like if you're doing something positive, then it's making them look like they're not doing enough, or they're not doing anything positive, or, you're taking time away from them, or, you know what I mean? They project their vision of how they're feeling onto you because you're doing something positive. So it could be something like you're taking a class, or, you're trying to get like your MBA or something like that. You're like, oh, I've decided to go back to school because I want to get more, a better job with more money, whatever. And then other people are like, well, this isn't good enough for you. This job isn't good enough for you. This neighborhood isn't good enough for you. Like, things like that, where they just try to, hold you back because it's what they know. Yeah. And it's what they're used to. And so I feel like that can be something that's really difficult for people, when they're, because it kind of forces them to look at themselves. And a lot of people don't want to look at themselves. Yeah,
a lot of people don't want to be like, why haven't I done it? Like you're kind of saying, don't look at yourself. I could have done that. If you can do it, or if people don't believe that someone can, how would you do that? Why would you go do that?
Why would you want to do that? We get that all the time when it's like, I want to move here and I want to do this. Why would you want to do that?
Because we're always black sheep. So our ideas are always something that the people around us don't really
how are you gonna afford that? How are you gonna do this, that, and the other? And it's like, well, you don't need to worry about that because it's not you. That's for me to worry about, but I'm figuring that out because it's what I want to do. I'm making this change. So you can either be positive and be like, that's awesome, I hope it works for you, or you can shut the fuck up.
Yeah, no. And the biggest thing about that too is just like, what if it works? Like, don't ask me why am I doing something. What if it works? Like, seriously, what if this does? Instead of being, what happens if I don't? Or why are you doing it? Who gives a shit why? Because I want to see what's at the end of it, because I got nothing better to do, because I want to be better. Like, it doesn't matter why. The thing is, like, if this works out, and it probably will if you put the effort in.
Yeah.
There's also going to be ups and downs. Like, shit isn't, I'm going to do this, and it's just smooth sailing. Yeah. It's not like that. You're going to have ups and downs. You'll have good times, bad times, hard days, things you got to learn and frustrate the shit out of you. You do that, but just what if it works? What if you put in time to start a business and it's fucking the new Amazon?
Yeah.
Like, just because, why not? Like,
just because someone else doesn't have your vision, doesn't mean that you should abandon your vision.
Yeah, another thing is these motherfuckers don't pay your bills.
Right.
That's another thing. All the people that don't, I've learned in my own experience so far, most people that have not made it or not doing what you want to do are always the ones that question you. The people that are doing what you want to do will never look in any aspect. I've learned it's music, fitness, business, or education. If you're looking at someone's already done and they're like, hey, I'd like to do this, they're always like, you should do that. You should do that. You should, if you want to do it, you should do that.
Right.
That's what it is. But it's all the people that have worked the same job and are kind of little insecure and down on themselves. It's like, well, why would you do that? Why would you want to do it? Or people that have never done anything. People that are so safe in their little bubble that, well, why would you do that? How are you going to afford it? I don't know. I couldn't afford half the shit I did growing up, but I'm still here. Yeah. And I'm okay financially. Like, we're fine, you know? And I would rather be broke as shit being who I want to be, achieving what I want, than rich being somebody I'm not. I would much rather be that person. You know what I mean? Like, that makes way more sense to me. Because you can't put a price on the achievement of that shit, of achieving something like that. It's fantastic.
Yeah. We kind of talked a little bit about some like small changes that people can do like in order to begin a transformation. So, you know, in the intro of this video, we talked about how this is like when people are making their resolutions. So resolutions never stick.
Resolutions suck.
Because it's like, now I'm going to set up these rules for this next year that I have not been doing previously, but I'm really going to do it now, starting January 1st. And like, that's, first of all, January 1st, you're typically hungover and you feel like crap anyway.
At least January 2nd.
So,
start on the 2nd.
Yeah, so it's like you never actually
You're off
start,
work.
Yeah,
you ain't doing anything.
Doing shit
yeah,
on
doing shit.
New Year's Day. But yeah, so it's like they want to make these huge leaps. Like, I'm going to do this, all these crazy things for, you know, this next year. So I'm going to go to the gym 5 times a week and I'm going to run a marathon and I'm going to, you know, move into a mansion. I'm going to make $1 million, like all these things, but they're not actual like goals. They're not actually like
hard goals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's why they typically will fall off. Like, you know, you see the influx of people at the gym in January. Everybody goes out and gets a gym membership. And then by February, it's like the gym is back to normal. And it's like, you know, just the regular people that have already created that discipline and are already in that routine. So for us, though, we're talking about it, we're talking about how just the smaller things that you can implement into your routines will sort of build up the momentum, and you see that sort of progression and evolution over time. So it's like maybe you had a resolution of doing something but didn't know how to get there. If you start sort of incorporating smaller things into your routine, or, you know, just little things that you could sort of are positive towards your goals, then you see that evolution like over time, which I think is so much more rewarding, really, when you look back on it and you're like, God, I just started doing this, and then all of a sudden I was doing this, that, and the other too, and now I'm here. And you can look back like even 6 months, you know, down the line and be like, wow, it really like made a huge impact.
Yeah, you definitely need to do the small stuff because, you know, on the part we didn't get to record earlier, I mentioned that people definitely overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in 5. Like, people want to be a millionaire, but if it ain't going to happen in next year, I'm going to not do that. But you can make a big leap in 5 years if you really put effort in. Make a big leap and that goes with so many different things. But yeah, people like really do that jump. I was saying, like, if you make $50,000 now, you want to make that $1 million, but you know, I can't really do that right now. Yeah, go from 50,000 to 80. And then go from 80 to 100, and, you know, and then start doing that, because at least the 80 is better than where you're at.
Right.
Same thing with, like, don't look in the next 3 weeks you want to lose 57 pounds. Look in the next, you know, you're just trying to shed 1 pound, 2 pounds a week, and you just let that roll. You know, if you can do that, that's good. So do the small stuff, and then once you get it going, then you can start adding the bigger little chunks in there and be like, oh, I've learned I can do this. You can do that with so many things, but I think that's one thing that people really need to start. If you're going to dive in really hard, it's really going to burn you out. It's really hard to go from being lean, like chilling at the house, watching Netflix every evening after work, and then starting a business that you're going to have to work on 7 days a week after work for 4 hours every single day. Do something smaller, you know what I mean? And start implementing things in. So it's like, oh, maybe 3 hours a week, we can do an hour work here. You know, and then that makes it so it'll stick. And then over time, those build up to where you have a good, efficient schedule. And it makes it easier and smooth, and you don't fucking just want to quit.
Okay, so we have come up with 5 tips that we think are incredibly helpful when it comes to actually creating sort of the roadmap to accomplish your goals. Instead of the New Year's resolutions, which we know are just so like, I'm going to do this starting January 1st. And then you never do that thing because you were hungover and then you forgot about it anyway. So these are actually actionable ways that you can make your transformation and actually make it a reality and have it actually work out.
Yeah. So I would say number 1 tip that we have is write it down. You write it down, it makes it real. There's some actual science talking about when you write it down, it actually, your brain kind of more manifests it, right?
Yeah, it be actually like
solidifies it, makes you remember it more. Okay, it doesn't manifest. It's not like a genie. But
yeah. So don't like type it on your computer or anything like that, or put it in your notes.
Yeah.
Just make sure that you write it down, and then you put it someplace where you can see it.
Refrigerator. I always say refrigerator. Everybody goes to eat. You're going to eat. You're getting in your refrigerator.
Well, you go to the fridge, I think, more than
most people. Is that what you're saying? That's fucked up. It's true though. I'm a growing man, and I like sweets and snacks. But yeah, write it down. Find somewhere you want to write it down. Write down if you need to write down different goals, steps to the goals, things you're going to do every day. If you need a calendar and you need to do that, you need a dry erase board, which we used to have.
Yeah.
Because I am big with having something I can see every day. Because if I don't see it every day, I will forget it. Like, even if it's important to me, I got a lot of shit going on.
Yeah.
So going to work, doing whatever, you want to see that when you wake up and when you're leaving and when you're going somewhere else or when you're sitting on your couch working, if you look up and see it, that will keep you focused. So write it down somewhere in your house. That's a really big one. I like that one.
Mm-hmm. So, and then the next one is reverse engineering.
Can you explain that one?
Reverse engineering, it's sort of when you have your goal and you see your goal and you know what your goal is, but you're not quite sure how to get there, then you can kind of take examples of people or brands or businesses or whatever it is that have gotten where you want to go and then go backwards. Like, see their progression. Like, where did they start? What did they do to get there? And you can sort of break that down and use some of those processes and some of those ways for yourself. And you can really manipulate and make it so that it falls more in line with you and where you're at and your starting points and your resources and all that good stuff. But it's such a great way to see, like, how am I going to get from point A to point C? Because, you know, there's going to be like A1, A2, B, B1, B2, like a lot, you know what I mean? Like
dot 42, point D7.
Yeah, there's going to be so many steps like in between, and that's fine. Because the more steps I feel like they're a little bit more bite-sized. They're a little bit more manageable. Mm-hmm. So if you're looking at someone who's already way over there, like, you want to see all the little things that got them there. So you really can reverse engineer and go backwards from where it is that you want to go and sort of figure out where your starting point is.
Yeah, and also if you're doing something wild that you can't find anybody that's already done it, take your goal. That, all right, this is where I'm going to be in 5 to 10 years, right? This is what the goal is, where I want to be. I want to make $1 million. That's the easiest one most people want to do. Let's just be real, or way more than that. But we'll say $1 million is what I want to make. You take from that and you go backwards, and you say, at this point, how much money would I need to make here, per day, per month to this point for the year? Like, do all that, and then all the habits that person would need to make there, and you just start bringing it back to where you are now. And I think that's a really good way to go about it, instead of being like, well, I'm here now, and if I do this for the next week, I might be able to get here, and that shit will never add up if you don't have the goal in line. Mm-hmm. Also, another thing is the goal is fine. You might be able to write all this stuff down. Have the goal, but remember that the way to the goal can change.
Oh, yeah.
That's a big one.
Yeah, because the plan can change. The goal.
The goal stays the same, the plan can change. Okay.
So our third one is, and we talked about this earlier, small steps. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't have to be something that's incredibly overwhelming. It can just be something really simple, like incorporating more water into your daily routine, or that 10-minute walk, or maybe taking that 15-minute online course,
yep,
through masterclass or whatever it is, just to help you, start to incorporate more positive, goal-focused ideas. And that way, like, it sort of replaces any of the sort of negative or the things that sort of hold you back in your day. So maybe instead of watching that extra half hour of Netflix, you're doing a half hour online course, or, spending half hour at the gym, or, things like that.
Yeah, and those little steps really, if you can do, say you do 2 or 3 a week in a month, you've added a lot of things to your life that you wouldn't have before. Mm-hmm. And they're not daunting everyday things.
Right.
So if you just I want to drink more water, or I want to get some steps in, and then I want to go to the gym for 45 minutes, and I want to do some stretching. If you're doing none of those now, and you incorporate, that's 4 new things you've done, and at least only in a month, if you're doing it one a week, right? If you do more than that, awesome, that's great. You're doing a lot more, but that's just very simple stuff. And then you keep doing that, and over time you get better at it, and you just compound those little small steps. So each brick makes a foundation of an amazing palace that you will be in.
Right.
Schedule it. Schedule it.
Put it on your calendar. Put it on your calendar. Make it a real thing. You have a schedule. You have all your doctor's appointments, your work, your meetings, all the things already on your calendar.
Little crazy ass kids.
Schedule it for yourself. Schedule that 15 minutes. Schedule that 30 minutes, that 45 minutes, hour, whatever it is for whatever it is that you want to dedicate that time to, put it on your schedule because that makes it real. You want to think of it as you are your own boss. Would you cancel a meeting on your boss? No, they're going to show up. And so you need to show up for yourself. If it's on your schedule, then it's got to get done.
Yeah, we've worked with many people that we actually had to tell them that, because it's like so many people will put so much time in for their job, for their work, and then come home and put no time in for themselves, which doesn't make sense. If you want to really do anything important and good and become something, you have to invest in yourself before you invest in your work. Put more into yourself than you do in your job.
Yep.
That's a big one, and just schedule it. If you want to go work out, or if you want to take a class like she was saying, put it on the calendar and make it a non-negotiable. And you don't have to be like, well, I want to take this class. You be like, I have a meeting. I have something I have to do. And it becomes non-negotiable, and you stick to that, and because that's for yourself. A lot of times, those things, it's okay to say no to other things when you have something you want to do. I think as an adult, we get so used to being like, oh yeah, no, I got that, I can't give myself time.
Yeah.
But once you give yourself a hard time, like, this is something that I do for 1 hour a day that makes me a better person after that 1 hour a day, every day. You know what I mean? Like, some people go to the gym because they need an outlet. Some people like to play tennis or backgammon or something. They just need a little release. Video games, even. If you're somebody that needs that shit, like, do your half hour to your hour. I need this to my time for my day, and then you schedule it, you get done, you'll feel really good. Because you had your time to do your stuff that helps you clear and, like, deload, kind of, right? What's your thing that you like to do?
Oh, I can't tell you that.
This is all new to me. This must be an early morning scheduling, because I miss it.
Yeah, you're at work?
Yeah.
No, I have to have like my morning routine is quite leisurely.
I know your
I'm not
little
gonna
morning
lie.
routine.
I'm not going to lie.
You built that for yourself, though.
I did build that for myself. But yeah, I see these girls that are like, I'm going to get up at 5, and then I go and I do my hot girl walk, and I drink my warm
That's
lemon
bullshit. I hate
water,
that
and
stuff.
da-da-da-da. I'm like, I get up at 5 because he goes to work, and I usually wake up. And I lay in bed with the cats with my cup of coffee.
But you do computer work, too.
Yeah.
You do computer work. It's not like you're not doing anything, like just laying there. Like, you have a situation to where you are a good situation where you have a cup of coffee, 2 cats, in a robe with some TV on maybe in the background, and you're no TV for you? Just a computer and just chill.
Yeah.
I have to have noise, so I always have a TV
Yeah,
or something.
no, not me.
Music
I
or
enjoy
noise.
the silence of the house.
I don't like my own head.
I have to have that silence
In
in
the
the
morning?
house before I deal
Before I
with
come home?
anybody.
Because I am a loud person. I like loud noises.
All right.
Noises.
Our last tip, and this is your favorite one.
Just fucking start. Just start, like, for real. Like, sitting around reading all these things and talking all this shit and writing everything down is really good, but it's worthless if you don't fucking start.
Yeah.
Like, for real, like, this is one thing that I think we have gotten better at, too. Because we used to be like, well, we should probably let's do this, no.
We're not ready. We need this.
We're
that,
not
the
ready.
other.
That's a big one. I'm not ready. I don't have the money. No, it doesn't matter.
I don't have
Just
the
start
right
it.
stuff. I don't have the right place.
Yeah.
I don't have. No, just do it.
Let's be honest, this is not our ideal setup, but we're just doing it because we want to do this. We enjoy doing this, and we'd like to help some people. Maybe you enjoy it. Maybe you fucking don't, because I'll hear it in the comments if you don't. But it's just something we want to do, because I actually like talking to you, number one, and talking to everybody else, and I think it's great because, maybe hopefully the younger versions of myself will see this and be like, you're doing all right. I'm doing okay.
You're doing okay.
I'm doing okay. Maybe they'll learn something, and that's what we talk about a lot, is that we do a lot of shit to make my younger 12-year-old self happy and proud. It's true, because in the long run, that's all that matters, right? And I do everything to make you happy, but
Aww.
yeah, that was smooth. But anyway, just start. What would be your suggestions to just starting?
I would say just do your best not to overthink it, because you're never going to be ready. It's never going to be the right time. There is no right time. There's only right now. And if you don't just start, the time is going to pass regardless. And by the end of next year, you're going to be like, why didn't I just start? And you don't want that. You don't want to have that moment next year. come New Year's Eve. We want to make sure that this is something that you're like, you know what, I'm just going to do it now. So New Year's 2026, you can start small, but just do it. Just start. Start the business, start the fitness journey, start reconnecting with people, whatever it is, like just do it. Don't even think about it. Just dive in.
Yeah, and there's also a lot of things like art and baking. This is the one that we just realized. That art and baking, you can read and watch all the videos, but you gotta feel it.
Yeah.
You gotta play an instrument.
You can't just make a Yule log because you've watched so many people make a Yule log. It is not
the rolling.
I'm gonna tell you now. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be. I can do this. No, you can't. No, you can't. You gotta do it. You gotta physically just keep trying.
It's delicious. The rolling goddess. And the same thing with playing instruments. There's been many times where it's like, I watched this. Oh, I can do that, and I sit down to do it, and it's really fucking hard until you struggle through certain things. Yeah. Same thing with. You'll be on a computer and you'll have a problem and you'll Google it or YouTube it, and the dude will show you how to do it, and you still can't figure that motherfucker out. I got all the instructions, I'm doing all the shit, and it ain't working. Right? So just start doing your thing. Sorry for my little rant. I get angry. Just start, and we really hope this helps.
We do, and we're wishing all of you such a happy and healthy 2026. If there is something else that you would like to hear us banter on about, please drop us a comment. We are more than happy to make a video about it. We just love to connect with everyone out there. So happy New Year, everyone, and we will see you in our next video.
Next year it is.